Our vision is to inspire the world and remove limiting beliefs in your mind. At Sprinkle with Hope, our mission is to inspire you to live your best life by sharing stories of hope, resilience, courage, and overcoming adversity.
We believe that everyone has the potential to lead a joyful, fulfilling life, and we hope to encourage and motivate you to pursue your dreams.
Welcome to the Sprinkled with Hope podcast.
This is Jason. And this is Shane.
And it's podcast time.
Welcome to your Sprinkle with Hope podcast and your host Shane. And today our guest is April Hernandez Castillo. I've actually followed her for a little bit on social media. Some of you might know her from the 2007 movie Freedom Writers. She's also been on a few TV shows, but really the reason why we're talking to April is because her story aligns so perfectly with our purpose, which is talking to people with overcoming adversity and resiliency and all of those things. April, thank you so much for joining us today. We're super excited.
Thank you for having me. Happy Friday.
Yes.
So let's talk about why you're opening up now and really sharing those vulnerable things that you've gone through and really opening up to the world. Why is it? What is motivating you to do that?
Well, I feel like I've been opening up for quite some time, but when I wrote my second book, Embracing Me, which is my memoir, I felt this freedom and responsibility to truly share my story in a way that I'm not able to when I'm speaking in schools or universities, because there are some topics that are very heavy and just it can
Right.
become very politicized. And I'd rather it not be that way, and I get to just talk about it with with true freedom. And I think we live in such a world now that we're so tired of fakeness. We are so tired of just people who don't seem real and authentic and transparent. And to me, I thought, well, if I can share as much as I feel comfortable with, whether that's my abusive relationship that I was in years ago or my abortion that I can now speak freely of, um, I do it for the person who I know is suffering. I do it for the person that I wish I had. Really, that's who I did it for. And so, what better time than now? Because tomorrow is not promised.
I love that. And I love the name of your title, right? Of your book, your second book. It was called, what was it?
Embracing Me.
Embracing Me. And it
Mm-hmm.
just kind of gave me this super cool visual about you're really hugging yourself and giving yourself that space to open up and to have a safe place to do that, right? And
Right.
so as you were kind of working through that book, did you kind of see that yourself opening up and you really wrapping your arms around yourself, or how was that visual when you were going through that book?
I love that visual that you just spoke about, because that's exactly, even with the photo, that it was so intentional. Um, when we think of a parent embracing their child, it is the same way that I want someone to embrace their pain,
Mm.
embrace their trauma, embrace their fear, because I think sometimes we make our fear bigger than what it is. We
Oh
make
yeah.
our pain really the entire story of our lives when it's only a chapter, metaphorically speaking. But if you can embrace it, there's this comfort. I think of, God embracing me in all
Right.
of my mess. So why not be able to embrace everything that you've been through, and then being able to move forward, which is why it's embracing, which is continuous.
Yeah.
I haven't fully embraced, and I stopped. As human beings, especially in this world that we're living in, we have to continuously embrace new changes in how the world is moving, and still be okay with who we are.
Love it.
And I saw kind of the same visual, but I also saw a little bit different, which is almost accepting yourself who you are and what you've gone through and all of those things, that you're now accepting yourself more, because those things aren't really you. You might have gone through those things, but they don't define who April is. You're now becoming a newer version of yourself. That's kind of the visual I saw. But you talked about fear and the pain, and often we make those things bigger. What has sort of helped you make those things less scary or big? Is there something that you can put that you've done that made those things not as big?
It's definitely working on myself constantly. Surrounding myself with people who see things that I can't see in myself. People who believe in me more than I believe in me, because believe me, as an actor, Lord have mercy, you just want to just tap out and be like, why am I doing this? I don't understand. And no profession, not that I've done every profession, but there's something about being an artist, that it makes you question parts of your soul in a way that maybe another profession doesn't. And so there's always that pain of like, my gosh, am I ever good enough? If you don't get a role, then that, separating, it has nothing to do with me personally, but as an artist, I wasn't ready for that role. And so just reminding myself, like, you know what, you've been through hell, you've made it out. Look at you now. Just 5, 6, 7 years ago, I wouldn't even dare speak about my abortion without having a panic attack. And now I no longer have panic attacks. To me, I think that's growth. How many people are suffering and wish that they can just move forward in life without anxiety or crippling them. So those have been some of the elements that has helped me move forward.
I love that. And I love the words that you're using, because you talk about working on yourself and surrounding yourself with these great individuals and people, and all the words that you're describing are all action words, right? It takes
Correct.
action to do that. And so how have you seen like action really help evolve you as a person, as an individual, as working on yourself, right? How have you seen yourself taking action really helping yourself to become a better person, or a better version of yourself, I should say?
Yeah, I think we've romanticized this whole thing of self-care, where it's like, oh, just I don't know, it's just so weak to me. It's, for me, maybe it's just my personality. I'm I'm a bit more aggressive, and maybe I need just something a little deeper. But I feel like for me, self-care is really looking at my inner self and saying, why are you procrastinating? Why aren't you doing what you dream of doing? Why are you allowing these voices that don't belong, and they don't do anything to move you forward? Really having a conversation with yourself and saying like, man, I need to improve on some things. To me, that's the greatest self-care, because that's where breakthroughs really happen. Yes, it's nice to go get a massage and sometimes just not doing anything. But when you have to do soul work, like it you have to get ugly. You have to go to that ugly place. That's where the true healing is.
I love what you're saying. I love it, because it's everything that you're saying is just hitting me so perfectly. I mean, I agree with you that we need to work on ourselves. We can't rely on other people to improve us, or that has to come from it within us. So I just love what you're saying.
Right. Yeah. Well, lately I've just been like, okay, I am not where I want to be. What is getting in my way? And when I look around, the only thing that is stopping me has been myself.
Right.
Yep.
I have all the support, right? I have a husband who loves me. I have a team of people who are like, April, whatever you need, we're there, but it's me. It's this mindset of like, nobody cares what I have to say. I'm like this extrovert who loves her privacy. I'm just like, I don't want to let the world, I don't want to have a camera on me all of the time, and we get caught up in this cycle of thinking like, okay, I have to be on all of the time.
Right.
And I go, I don't have the capacity to be that. So it's finding the balance.
And that leads perfectly to what I was just going to ask is, as an actress, how do you balance your family, your personal life, your interests and all of those things with a really extremely busy career?
Mm-hmm. I don't. I just make it look really good.
Being honest.
I don't. There's no balance. I think it's prioritizing, and I think it's being intentional. And I understand that what season am I in? So for instance, my daughter, she's an actor as well. She's 10 years old. Last year was all about her. We were all over the place. She had a film that was, just doing amazing. And we were traveling and auditioning and booking work. And I had to take a step back really from acting because I was like, I can't do both. It's just too much. So prioritizing what season and knowing what season you're in. You'll have very busy seasons, and then when it's time where it becomes quiet, you go, why is it so quiet?
Yeah.
What do I need to get done, or what do I need to look into myself when it's that in-between season, which most of the time for actors, we are always in the in-between season because only 2% of actors are actually working and make it. And when I'm in that 2%, I'm like, woo, yes. And then when I'm on the sideline thinking, wow, all right, it's quiet, then I say, okay, I need to be present for everyone here. So for me, it's about being intentional, and putting things like in these, these parking lots, these creative parking lots of saying, what do I want to give my time to? So I hope that answers the question. But balance, I mean, who's really balancing it?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know anyone who's like, oh, I am so balancing my life. Like,
yeah, I got it perfect,
I'm perfect. Like, as a mom, I'm like, my gosh, I'm supposed to look good. I'm supposed to stay fit. And then too much.
Amen to that. Seriously, who is balancing? Yeah. I love this honest conversation because I think really when we open up and are honest with ourselves and with others,
right,
that's when we can break down those barriers and have these really good conversations and not not be worried about this facade that we try to create. I just love you're giving me all kind of visuals today, and I'm a very visual person, and so I'm just picturing this, these barriers and these walls, and we're just ripping them down and just
I just, you know what, I don't have time.
Right.
I don't have time. I don't have the mind capacity to be like, oh, I feel like everyone's living in a filtered world,
right?
And I go like, wow, I wonder if someone really showed what it's like to get to the ladder of success, and whatever success means to you, what does that really look like? I don't think we would have the same outcome because everyone wants a highlight reel. You just want a highlight reel of my success. But the best place is in the darkness when I'm crying or I feel like giving up, because most people fall into that section. But then how do you get out of that? That's what makes it special.
And I think that's why I appreciate following you, because you've been so open and real and honest, not just with yourself, but with everybody who can see that. And I really appreciate that. I think all too often we hold back because we feel like that won't teach people or help them. But you've taken a different approach. You're like, no, I'm going to be real with you all the time. And that's what I think that's what helps people
connect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm living in a real world, having a real human experience.
Right.
And there's days where we are kicking butt and our lives are phenomenal. And then there's days where we're just like, wow, I don't even know if it's Monday or Tuesday, but it's okay. I will throw in some red lipstick and make it a red carpet event no matter where I go. That's what I always think, that there's always a red carpet somewhere. So yeah, it's finding the joy in the mess.
Yeah, I love it.
And making something beautiful.
I love it. And you talked about your family, and maybe we can talk about that for just a little bit, because I know family for me is really important, and it sounds like family is a really important piece to you. So how has your family really helped you, and how have you guys kind of come together as a family to just make each other stronger?
I have to give credit to my husband, who's my best friend, business partner, creative partner. I remember at the top of the pandemic, it was absolutely terrifying. New
Yeah.
York City was completely empty, streets, no one was there. It really felt like one of those movies that I was like, oh, I didn't audition for this role. I don't know why I got it. Like, sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't really audition for this role to be a petrified person living in 2020. And my husband, the leader that he is, he said, you know what, we're gonna do our best to find the joy no matter what. And sometimes we were like, okay, we're gonna find it. Don't know where it is, but we're gonna create it. And I really think of just being grateful that we never went without, right?
Yeah.
He never lost his job. We never our refrigerator was never empty. Like we didn't lose our apartment or where we live, the way that so many other people it
Yeah.
was happening to them. Once again, finding the gratitude, finding those moments. So, and we talk about everything. My family, we're so open, obviously, you see, and
Right.
that's the culture. That's the culture that we have in our little circle.
I love that you talked about some of those basic things, having a fridge that is full that often we take for granted. But you're like, no, I'm super grateful for those small things in a time
Right.
like that. I love that you went right to that. That just,
Oh, absolutely. I listen, you can be stressed out, but when you don't have food, when you don't have basic things to live, it can send you down this spiral of just really hating life and living in utter fear. But when I would open the fridge and I'm like, okay, we can have dinner. We can, for
Yeah.
the 10,000th time, I don't know what else to cook because that's just, it was just insane. But in the at the same time, I wrote my, my memoir and it came out, during the pandemic. And I
That's
thought,
awesome.
yeah, this is what it is.
love that. Love that. April, this has been such a great discussion. We get typically to a point near the end where we call it the double down dose. So I have a question
Uh-oh.
and Jason will ask a
It's
question.
good. It's good.
April's like, oh no, you didn't warn me about this part. Two simple questions. The first question is, how would you define hope?
Hmm. In the words of Rocky Balboa, this is how I define hope. It's not how hard you can hit. No, it's not how hard you get hit. It's how, well, no, it's not how hard you hit. It's how hard you can get hit and get up and keep moving forward. To me, that is the definition in my brain and my heart of what hope is. That as many times as you are knocked down, that you can still see the light at the end of the tunnel. Even if it's like just a tiny little light, that means that there's still hope. And my husband always says to me, babe, it's not over. When those moments of like, my gosh, should I just quit? Should I just leave this or nothing is working? He says it's never over. So that's how I see and define hope for me.
Oh, I
Love
love
that.
it. And really, if we could script that and just these two questions are very easy, but they at their core, they're a lot of what we live by each day, right?
Right.
And so the second question of the double down dose is, how would you define love?
Wow. Hmm. See, that's so deep because there's so many, like, is it love for myself? Love for, how would I define love? Hmm. Love will get you through it.
Mm,
Love will get you up. And love, if you hold on to it, it can get you to the other side of whatever that journey is for you. Love is safe, feeling safe for me in my journey of life. I've always felt I feel safe. Love is transparency. And God is love.
So good.
Amen.
What you said.
Like that was so deep. I'm like, there's so many ways my brain just went, but I'm like, yeah, that's to me. Yeah, love is sweetness, you know?
Yeah.
When it's right, it's sweet.
Yeah.
And that's how I think of love.
So good.
Out of all those things you said, which I love everything, but there was one word that stuck out, which is deep, because we don't often think about love. We just think about it on the superficial level, I think, but you just said it perfectly. Like, wow, that's so deep.
It is. I mean, right? Love is beautiful. Love is complex. Love,
right?
As much as love heals, it hurts.
Yeah.
It can actually be simultaneously like, I love you so much, it hurts me. I don't understand. It's
right.
It's love is complex.
Yeah.
I don't think, yeah, you can't really just define love and be like, oh, that's it, right? It is complex, right. But it is very beautiful.
Yeah, totally agree with
well
everything
said.
you're saying. April, I have really enjoyed this discussion. Thank you so much so much for joining us. We love what you do. Keep up the great work, and we're cheering for you and your family to have all the success that you can.
Oh, I appreciate you both, and thank you for your patience with me on a Friday. And now if I'm going to go out to Utah, I have some friends out there.
Absolutely. 100%. Hit us up.
Oh, thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate you. And let me know like when it's ready to post or air so that way I can blast it.
Yeah, for sure. And is there any kind of maybe last parting words you'd like to share with those that are out there listening that maybe we haven't touched on, or just something you feel inspired to share that this Friday afternoon to start the weekend off just amazing?
Yeah, I would say color outside the lines and dream in color.
Oh man, April, holy smokes. If they get nothing else than that today, seriously, you are amazing. I just really appreciate you and just your demeanor, your spirit, your light, your love, all of that. Man, April, you're awesome. Thank you so much for just sharing
thank
with
you
us
guys.
this awesome day.
Oh, you as well, and have a blessed weekend.
Yes, thank you.
Of course.